Once upon a time, before humans, before animals, before plants, was an earth which was a ball of fire. Picture Earth 2 billion years ago. There were no trees, no dinosaurs, no humans, no life at all. Just a boiling planet covered with oceans filled with microscopic life, tiny single celled organisms fighting for survival, and no existence of multicellular life. Among the unicellular life were two different kinds of life forms. One was a large, sluggish cell, which was good at building things, storing nutrients, and protecting itself, but bad at generating energy. And the other was a small, hyper energetic bacterium, which was superb at burning molecules and producing energy, but too tiny and fragile to survive alone. Each had something that the other lacked. And then they made the greatest deal in biological history. One day, not with intention, not through planning, but through evolution, the big cell swallowed the smaller bacterium. Normally, this would mean that the bigger cell would digest that bacterium, but that did not happen. Instead, something extraordinary happened. That small bacterium refused to die. It continued producing energy inside the big cell. The big cell realized, purely through natural selection, that keeping this energetic little cell gives me an advantage. So instead of predator versus prey, they became partners. This moment is called as endosymbiosis, or living together on the inside, and life on earth was never the same again. This was the birth of mitochondria. Over millions of years, the little bacterium lost its freedom. It gave up most of its own DNA. It merged into the big cell's life plan. It slowly transformed from a wild bacterium into what we now call a mitochondrion. But it kept one big reminder of its past. It still has its own DNA. It still replicates inside cells independently. It still resembles bacteria more than us. So, inside every cell of your body, a very ancient life form is still living. It is a factory that powers you. What does the mitochondrion do today? Think of it as the powerhouse or energy generator of the cell. Every thought you think, every memory you store, every heartbeat, every breath is powered by the energy produced by mitochondria. It takes food and oxygen and turns them into ATP, which is the energy currency of life. Without mitochondria, there would be no energy and there would be no complex life. Yes, you and I, we exist because of mitochondria, because of this one small bacterium. This is why plants, animals, fungi, humans, tigers, elephants, all multicellular life forms have mitochondria. Bacteria don't, and that's why they stay single celled. Mitochondria have their own DNA, separate from the DNA in the nucleus. So we are technically carrying two genomes, one from our ancestors, which is nuclear DNA, and one from ancient bacteria, which is mitochondrial DNA. And mitochondrial DNA always comes from the mother because the sperm's mitochondria don't usually enter the egg. So the energy factories inside you today are directly inherited from the energy factories inside your mother and her mother and her mother going back 200 crore years. So mitochondria are older than trees, animals, oxygen breathing life, and even the continents that we stand on. Mitochondria is the real hero of evolution. Without mitochondria, big complex organisms like humans could never have evolved. Why? Because brains require huge energy. Even a chimpanzee brain uses 3 times more energy than its body weight suggests. A human brain uses 20% of body's total energy while being only 2% of its mass. Without mitochondria, There would be no neurons, no intelligence, no complex brains, and no human civilization. So, yes, in a very poetic way, mitochondria are the unsung heroes of evolution. They turned survival into partnership and partnership into complex life. So, who are we then, really? We like to say that we are humans made of human cells, but the truth is more magical. Our body is actually a city of 37 trillion cells. Inside each cell live hundreds to thousands of mitochondria. Life is not a single organism, it is a merger of species that learn to work together. You and your mitochondria are not separate, you are a collaboration. We often think evolution is about competition, but the mitochondrion teaches a deeper truth. The greatest leap in life happened not by fighting but by partnering. The most powerful form of survival wasn't domination, it was cooperation. And that tiny ancient bacterium is still inside you, quietly keeping you alive, generating energy every second of your life. Thank you so much for listening.